Hello family, I hope anyone who likes my videos to support me with subscribe to my channel. Please give me the energy to make more effort into videos. Thank you for your support family, and let's start our movie recap. At the beginning of the movie, we meet Danny is set to get married but overhears his fiancée criticizing him and his family just before the ceremony. Because he's the only person in the pub that night who isn't hitting on her, Danny picks up a female who hits on him. These things are pretty obvious. He gets the urge to approach ladies while wearing his wedding dress because he is married. It is ideal since he won't develop attachments that way either. He believes this was covered in a Seinfeld episode, but a movie was produced about it more than 10 years later. Danny is now a well-known plastic surgeon who continues to attract ladies by wearing a false wedding band. When Danny attends a patient's party, he meets Palmer, a stunning 25-year-old woman. They click and spend the night on the beach together, and Danny actually senses a connection. But the next morning, she discovers his wedding band, which snaps and bolts. He discusses it with Catherine, a coworker, and she informs him that she has always warned him that lying to women will catch up with him. The following day, Danny sees Palmer at the school where she works and informs her that he is genuinely getting a divorce and that he and his wife are both seeing other people. He is also introduced to her children. As a result, Danny begs Catherine to convince Palmer it's acceptable by posing as his wife for Danny to date. She agrees to assist him. They then go shopping, and while there, Catherine gets a haircut that makes her the ideal wife. They go to lunch with the three, and Danny and Catherine start their falsehoods. Palmer is duped, and just as Catherine is ready to depart, she receives a call from her son, leading Palmer to believe Danny has children and requests to meet them. As a result, Danny invites Catherine's children to join him for lunch and asks them to pose as his children. They obviously accept after hearing that he will pay them $600 and a PlayStation the following day at work while treating a patient who had a slight imbalance in her chest region. Catherine asks Danny to keep her kids away from the PlayStation, but he responds that they are enthusiastic about it. She finally caves the following day, and the four head to an indoor playground to meet Palmer. As soon as they enter, a child headbutts Danny in the crotch. When Palmer engages the children in conversation, their lives only become greater and bigger for everyone. Michael, Catherine's son, also informs her that Danny had promised to fly to Hawaii so he could swim with dolphins, so they all go to Hawaii together. And to make matters worse, at the airport, Danny's best friend, Eddie, unexpectedly joins all of them, pretending to be Catherine's boyfriend. In Hawaii, the first thing they all do is go to the beach. Danny rushes to the jewelry store after seeing Palmer in her bathing suit, hoping to find engagement rings for that night's dinner. When Palmer asks Eddie what he does for a job, he tells everyone he works with sheep, and he claims that Catherine buys a lot of wool from him due to her obsession. So Catherine walks away from Danny, telling him she wants to go home, and they run into her old two-faced classmate, Devlin, whom she despises and informs her that she is truly married to Danny. The party proceeds on a full-day adventure excursion the following day, and at a lake, Palmer and Catherine strip off so they may swim. Danny acknowledges that Catherine genuinely has a decent appearance. I'm good. That evening, Danny and Palmer look after the kids so Catherine may relax, and Michael admits to Palmer that he occasionally feels down since he doesn't get to spend much time with his biological dad. Palmer decides to treat Catherine to a spa day the next day so that Danny may spend the day with the kids. They play pretend golf. At the spa, Danny actually shows Michael how to swim, something his father had always promised to do but had never done. Palmer queries Catherine over Danny's birthday present. When they return to Danny and the kids absolutely run into them and almost reveal all of she responds to him and learns that she truly knows Danny very well. While Danny was finally going to enjoy his night alone with Palmer, Eddie steps in to save the day by almost drowning Palmer, and Catherine and Devlin decide to go out to dinner that night. When they head out, Eddie takes Palmer out to keep her away from Danny and Catherine's double date. The location they visit is extremely dangerous. And then, in the middle of dinner, a girl comes in, reporting her sheep is dying. Palmer instructs Eddie to go save him since he works with sheep, and he does manage to save the sheep after trying everything and performing CPR on it. Devlin advises Danny and Catherine on their double date that they should do what she and her husband always do, which they actually do in the restaurant, which is to look each other in the eyes and express what they love about one another. After harping on Catherine all night about how much better she is than her, Devlin enters a dancing competition. Catherine makes the decision to go head-to-head, or should I say toe-to-toe, with Theo. As a result, Catherine and Danny triumph after playing a game with their partners as a tiebreaker. Back in Catherine's room, she shares a job offer with Danny. They flirt and even almost kiss since she moved out of the state but refuses to go. However, Catherine's children cut them off. Danny encounters Eddie and Palmer as they return from their night out as he rushes back to Catherine's room. and Palmer proposes to marry Eddie the day after that night when Michael takes another one on him since Eddie is actually dozing in the shower after Eddie has told her about his potential proposal. When Danny contacts Catherine to discuss all that has been happening and how his impending nuptials could make things awkward at work, she informs him that she has actually chosen to leave and accept the other position that has been offered and make a new beginning. Palmer goes into Catherine the next morning, despite her best efforts to avoid her, and asks her if she still has feelings for Danny because Palmer believes he is still in love with Catherine, but she tells her that every spark that was ever it is gone. Then, in the afternoon, Danny and Palmer get married when Devlin approaches Catherine at a pub while she is intoxicated and inquires about Danny. Catherine tells her the truth about the fact that she is divorced. Devlin informs Catherine that, despite her suspicions, she could be in love with Danny, that she is seeking a divorce since her spouse is homosexual, that Danny was only pretending to be married, and that he is truly getting married right then. Danny now remarks that it's wonderful to tell the truth. He then heard all that was said. He also confesses his love for Catherine to her, and they share a kiss as they fly home. Palmer finds a new person, and this time, Danny and Catherine actually get married, and everyone lives happily ever after. This is how our movie ends. Leave us a comment on how you found this movie recap. See you in the next movie recap.